Buddy, welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven, and today I just got back, so I'm now just getting on Final Fantasy 14. In my today, excuse me, in my today's topic, it's not my fault if some games run better than others. It's not my fault, guys. It's not. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if there's performance issues, could it be on your end? It could be. It could be. It could be ISP. It could be hardware. You know, there are a lot of things that correlate to performance. But when you're running more than optimal hardware and more than sufficient ISP connections and speeds, you have to revert back to where the problem's coming from, and that's the source, right? That's the source. It's where the server is originating, what their IP is doing. And it's at the end of the day, if I'm choosing a game because of performance, whose fault is that? Is it the content creator's fault, or is it the company's fault? You know, I'll go with the latter, you know, because when it comes down to it, a company who invests in their product and their performance is going to maintain consumers. Okay? You can actually have a beautiful game, but if it runs like shit, nobody wants to play a game that runs like shit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's down to that. It comes back to that simple principle. You know, why am I going to pay for very piss poor performance? Why am I going to do that? I'll deal with it for so long, but then after a while it weighs on all of us, right? And for the fanboys of whatever product, if you're going to sit there and justify, you know, staying with one product even though the performance is shit, that's your prerogative, but don't push that belief on everybody else. Okay? It's just that simple. Don't justify and say, well, it's this game, though. Yeah, I get it. It still runs like shit. So I should still pay for shit? No. Not happening. Not happening. You know, end of discussion. You know, it's not... If you want to stay with a game that runs like poop, hey, have at it. I've heard everything under the sun. Oh, well, it's because of Wi-Fi connections. It's because that doesn't justify me logging into another product and getting better frames per second at optimal settings. You know, it doesn't justify it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I forgot to put this up. No, it's right there. Okay, cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not going to be my fault, man. I'm not taking that blame. I'm not chewing on that. Let's see if Hop is on, and so is Noang. I'm seeing if they need to do their dailies. Get on Discord. Get on Discord. Trying to see if they need to run their dailies. If Scott needs to and whatever. We're trying to help level them up and get things going. I know he said he needed to do another dungeon for the quest. So I don't know if he's got that done. So while I'm here, I just want to make sure, like, if he needs it, you know, I want to get it out of the way. But we'll find out. So, but yeah, I mean, there are days that I honestly do miss certain games, and I do, and I could say that. I could say, oh my God, you know, I really like the game, I really enjoy the game, but oh my God, what am I supposed to do because the game's running like shit? I mean, there's not much you can do, to be honest with you. I mean, if the game's just not running very well, you can deal with it for X amount of time with the anticipation that it's going to get better, but if it never gets better, then what are you left with? You know, I mean, that's a scenario that I think it's asked individually what a player is willing to endure for, you know, entertainment purposes. And at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your time, and if you're happy with that product, no matter how it's performing, nobody can judge you for that. Not even me. But I know for me specifically, I'm looking for performance. I'm looking for something, and certain content and certain products will lend, you know, it's flexible how performance will determine your longevity, right? There might be parts of a product that's online that performance doesn't have to be, you know, high to get value out of it. But there's other times that you need performance to be, you know, on point. There's no doubt about it. You know, there's no doubt about it. You need optimal performance at the moment that you need it. And if you don't have it, well, what can you do? You know, sooner or later, you're gonna bounce. If you're that type of player. If you're a player like me, you're going to be like, hey, look, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it for X amount of time. I've heard all the bullshit, and it is bullshit. Because when I log into another product, I'm getting 60 frames per second. Why? Why? Okay? Why? Why am I getting 60 frames per second in certain games? Cal, what's up, dude? How you liking it, brother? How you liking it? I hope you like it, man. You get another email yet? You can hop in chat if you want. If you like to chat during the stream, I don't mind. I'm waiting for Hop and Scott to jump on. I'm going to see if Scott needs anything. I'd like to hear your opinions on your first couple of hours in the product. Interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So I was just supposed to walk in here? What the hell? Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, I'm losing subs, obviously, because I was ESO Daily for the longest time. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you know, Mystic's not covering ESO anymore. And it's fine. You know, it's more than fine. I'm cool with it. But don't hate on me. I've been hated on enough anyways. Like, I give a shit what people think, honestly. You know, I came into Elder Scrolls with a bunch of buffoons anyways. A bunch of friggin' nimrods that couldn't even count, let alone understand conceptual design. You know? So, when I had to deal with an entire friggin' population of, you know, stupidity, then all of a sudden it just was swayed. Oh, well, guess what? Mystic was right, but we're never going to admit that. No, no, no. And it was like, okay, fine, whatever. You know, I don't give a shit. You guys are copying my shit. You guys are doing what I say. I don't give a fuck. But it's not my fault, man. It's not. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying a game that has optimal performance. I'm sorry. I'm getting my money's worth. More than, actually. I feel like I'm actually getting more than my money's worth. I'm getting a lot of my money's worth in this product. It's refreshing, to say the least. And then I was talking to an individual who was a previous WoW content creator. He's small, but, you know, I was telling him, and he's currently playing Final Fantasy XIV. He made the switch recently after BFA. And we have a lot of WoW refugees coming to Final Fantasy. I'm an ESO refugee, to be honest with you. So why is everybody going over? Is it like, you know, is everybody you know, jumping on the train? It comes back down to the ratings and reviews, right? I will tease. I'm back. Technical difficulty. Speaking of. Man, companies definitely want to just piss me off today. But anyway, I'm back. I don't know for how long. Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. Anyways, getting into this. Sorry, technical difficulty for a second, but it was on my end. The thing about it is, I think we all get apprehensive, right? We're all apprehensive to try something new because, in a way, I feel like we're all fanboys of something. We all want to hold on to what we know and what we prefer. It's like basically changing your type of soda. If you're a Dr. Pepper fan, you don't typically prefer Mountain Dew, but if you're a Mountain Dew drinker, you typically don't prefer like Pepsi. You know, those things are apparent. It's in our nature to have, you know, a preference of sorts. And that's not to to discourage anybody. But once again, when the value is no longer apparent in your favorite product, what you end up doing is having to find a substitute. You have to find something similar. Something, one second. Sorry about that. Anyways, we have to find a substitute. We have to find something else that gives a purpose to our experience or what we lost. So, for example, if Pepsi is no longer affordable, let's say the enjoyment of Pepsi loses its appeal because of the price, right? It's no longer affordable. Are you more than likely going to try to find a lesser version of your favorite product to to justify cost? Of course, absolutely, absolutely. That is also typical of us as a society. And gaming is no different. We have no difference in gaming. So at the end of the day, did I really want to, go from one product to another? Absolutely not. No. Especially when I felt like a home within the product. I've invested time and money, and I made it a part of my identity. So for me to disengage that, it was a hard, decision. It was something I had to come to terms with to say, hey, I'm having performance issues. And because of that, and with no hindsight of resolution, I have to journey out and look elsewhere. And in this course of going through different MMOs, which I enjoy many products, there becomes, we'll just skip it for now. There becomes a moment in which you kind of have this bleak observation of saying, thus the mist gave way to azure skies, man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song, but beneath shrouded bogs and beyond the scope of light. 2 slots remaining in my inventory. Thank you for the observation. Cool. And I gotta wind up. And a new song. Excelente. Halfway to level 12 and loving every minute. The game runs so smooth. I know, man, right? And it feels so different, doesn't it? I mean, it hurts, man. It hurts. It hurts. I'm not even going to lie about it. When your favorite product doesn't meet the equal standards of another, it rips your gut out, man. It rips you apart. Because you stay with something and you want it to be as good. You're begging for it. Like, please, please, don't make me do this. Don't make me leave. I want to pay you money. I want to stay here. And your pleas fall on deaf ears. And, with everything that's been going on in the gaming industry, it's not the developers. What's going on, crew? Yo, David, what's up? It's not the developers' faults. It's not. It really isn't. Whatever. I mean, and we see this. You can see this not in just one product, but multiple products, man. And you see different companies making piss poor decisions in how they treat their product, because consumers want a product that they can enjoy over and over again. And nothing's perfect. No game is. Nothing ever was going to be. My son stayed home from school, sick, fell asleep. Okay, I'm going to talk to him real quick. Just wanted to see if he needed to do it. It feels like Final Fantasy XI, but smoother. Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's, Final Fantasy XI, I didn't like the combat system a little bit, though. I felt the combat system was, like, a little more rougher than what I was compared to, because we had, WoW out, and we had other games at that time was running a little bit smoother than, at the time, I felt Final Fantasy XI. And it was so once again, really quest-oriented. Not to, take away from that. But Final Fantasy XIV, Square Enix definitely delivers product upon product. So, I'm not surprised. So, are you playing Final Fantasy XIV then, David? Because if you are, dude, you definitely make sure you hit me up and you get me, on your friends list, and you get on the, our Discord. Please make sure you get on our Discord. We're talking about creating a free company for the viewers, and hopefully by the time Shadowbringer comes out, we'll be running we'll get a group together. We'll be running Endgame. I'll try to go over a lot of this content as much as I can. I haven't been in progressive system for a long time like this. That's one thing I did love about Elder Scrolls, was it was more open-ended, and I could pick and choose how I, configured my builds. I always loved Final Fantasy in the almost steampunk atmosphere. Wish I had gave this game more of a chance. Dude, seriously, I was apprehensive. I'm like you, Cal. And I feel like that's why we're all alike in a lot of ways, because there are certain things that we're accustomed to as people and gamers. Graham, yo, what's up, dude? Enjoying Final Fantasy? I'm enthralled with Final Fantasy at the moment. And for no other reason, it's literally the performance. I played it when they relaunched it. Did you? Oh my God. I'm so glad. And the funny thing is, my fellow content creators, like Hercules was a big inspiration for me to try this. And Mars just definitely gave me a lot more insight of what to anticipate. So, and Mars was definitely a hardcore Final Fantasy player, I guess, at one time. So I'm so glad. If you guys don't know who Mars is, please go check him out. And make sure to check out Kel, because Kel's going to be doing content on this from a new player's perspective like I am. So this kind of gives a lot of players insight. Like if you're a refugee, whether it be World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, whatever game, pick your poison, and you're trying Final Fantasy XIV for the first time, who better than the players who are experiencing it for the first time, and it can give you what it's like to experience this game from a new player's perspective. I really am enjoying it, because when Final Fantasy XIV first came out, it was pure trash. I've heard the horror stories, and then I heard the inspirational story that Square Enix literally pulled the code from the initial engine and completely put it to a new engine. Like, they literally stripped the code from the engine, set the code to the new engine, which is completely time-consuming, right? Everything, I mean, it's still the same C++ base code, but to source it into a new engine is time-consuming. But they did it. They did it. Good, my nephew plays it, and I'm still bashing ESO. I love Elder Scrolls. I love the game. I don't like the performance. And that's it. The open-ended concept, any class, any role, the beautiful lore behind it, the Elder Scrolls will always have a deep, meaning for me in so many ways. But at the end of the day, it's the executives and the company refusing to invest in their product that's got me fleeing. It's got everybody running for the woods. If WoW's doing it, like, there's people running from Activision, Blizzard. There's people running from EA. There's people running from friggin' Bethesda. And now, DS ZOS is going to have the same effect. And guess who's reaping the benefits of this? Square Enix. Square Enix is reaping the benefits of all of these companies' greedy decisions. It's like, stop. You guys are slitting your throats. Yep, that's why it's called Final Fantasy XIV Reborn. Yeah. No, they did. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I was really apprehensive as well. But after stepping foot in it, I was like very quest oriented. Oh no. And I was kind of having my doubts. I'm like, beautiful. I couldn't take away from the beauty that was presented, but I'm a type of player that was like, oh man, I definitely don't want to have to keep going through these things. But, you know, the drawn out aspect of progressive linear game. But then after you get...
To think the Moogles would prove such harsh taskmasters. Forgive me. I did not know you had suffered so in your quest for the horn.
And they got very good voice actors. There I am nodding. But the funny thing about it is, after trying the dungeons, when I first started stepping foot in the dungeons and seeing the combat system, even from a turn-based element,
I must say,
I was really impressed.
A welcome change from the arid
yep, performance is still slow, but they are working on. Yep, performance is still slow, but they are working on it. Question mark. They can work on it till they're blue in the face. It's the way the servers are set up. Like, literally, one or two things have to happen. They either have to... It's either a hardware issue or something within the engine that's causing the problem. So, it's only one or two things. They tried the pipeline, and that blew up in their face. It did improve performance, but the load was... the load screens were not resolving. So, I mean, I'm not there to, to give observation. Once again, I'm also not a server tech. But, you know, I do understand things between software and hardware. But at the same time, when we're taking a look at hardware, they could have the best systems in the world. But if, you know, there's a problem with the infrastructure of the data that's being transferred within the engine itself, what are you going to do?
Though I have lived in these lands my entire
life.
I
played it for 3 months, but I played a Tab Target MMO. I'm going to play DAOC, Dark Age of Camelot. DAOC's badass. The combat in WoW and Final Fantasy XIV bore me. I feel like WoW is kind of like, it took all the elements that we saw in previous MMOs like EverQuest and arduous. Some of the other elements, and it really, like HUD interface, combat interface, mechanics, and they perfected it. I feel that's what World of Warcraft brought to the table.
By your deeds, you have helped
us to lay the funny thing about Final Fantasy XIV, the combat's sluggish when you start.
I can still
because you're
see
low
you
level.
On the steps of faith.
Because it is turn-based. And that's one thing I was a little worried about. But when you start picking up and you start getting in probably your 40s, 50s, you really, your rotation alleviates the feel that you're in a turn-based mechanic because of the way the combo system's designed. So even though it's not a Twitch-based product, for a turn-based game, I feel it's probably superior to World of Warcraft, but it does have its limitations. Moving Imperial City out of Cyrodiil. Yep, I'm aware of it. With Anthem and Black Desert Online coming out and ESO new DLC coming out, I don't have the time, right? Yeah.
May I ask
and honestly, I think Elsewhere will be a good product for ESO, and I don't foresee the problem. The problem is not in the content that ZOS is delivering. It's not. It's not the problem isn't the content. There's
an urgent message for the Warrior of Light. I was instructed to deliver it without delay.
I'm just going to skip this. I can rewatch it. The problem with Elder Scrolls is not the content. It's the context. Okay? Not the content, it's the context in which the content is delivered. Because it's open-ended, we have no sense of, incentivizing doing the content other than fluff. For players like me, I'm not built around fluff. I'm built around progression. Now, you can have a progressive system in an open-ended game, but you have to do it in a certain way. I'm not saying how, because ZOS will have to pay my ass to do it. They would have to pay me. Fork up the fucking money, bitches. Either that or figure it out yourselves, but good fucking luck. You guys aren't even old enough to know, but good luck, I promise you. But that's the problem. It's in the context in which it's delivered. So you have the system where it's like, oh, great, a new trial, new sets. Why? Question mark. So it's not the content. It isn't. The content's beautiful. And then, of course, you have performance. Those are the two issues. The one's fixable. The other one, it is fixable, but you got to put money into it. BDO, one of the best friggin' combat systems ever played. I have ever played a combat system. I've never played a combat system so amazing than Black Desert Online. Black Desert Combat is the most phenomenal combat system you ever experience as an MMOer. It has a fighter game experience wrapped around an MMO element. The problem, accessibility. It's so grindy. It is time consuming and synced so bad. So excessive. Now they've put in, a battle royale, but it's got its issues as well. So they're trying to put in more accessible PvP content that showcases the combat system in the game, but they went about it maybe the wrong way. Prohibis did, but that's not to diminish the quality of the Black Desert experience. Black Desert experience, if you've never tried Black Desert, I would recommend anybody to try Black Desert Combat. Amazing. Simply amazing. They're moving Imperial City from Cyrodiil and making it a separate campaign, right? I'm a level 40, something a warrior in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, that's when it starts getting beefy. Like, I felt that was one of the things that I was a little surprised about, to be honest. Do I got to go back in here? What the hell, man? I just did one cutscene and now I'm going back? Okay, sure. I literally was a little apprehensive until I started. I mean, the quality was good. Smooth. Very smooth. I was getting 60 frames, like, constantly, unless I started doing, like, a few 8-mans. When I started getting into 8-mans or trials, my trials and raids. Oh, you found a sister.
Yes.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Is that
Alize, Alphinaud's twin sister.
Race
She ran
change is
afoul
interesting
of
in
the Warriors of
ESO, like
Darkness.
it for my tunes. I'm a little pissed with it, the way they did it.
I
They
had
should
been
have
tracking-
been
Evidently,
putting
she had learned
respect
of their
tokens on every
activities and
tune,
attempted to shadow
not
them on
just
her own. Poorly.
not just 3. It's a
I
cash
rescued her in
grab.
the Twelveswood, and together we fled north.
We got a
But
cash
though
grab
I
and a
made
half.
every effort to cover our tracks,
1 second.
they caught up with us on the Ishgardian border. And in the ensuing struggle, Elise took an arrow to the shoulder. It was only after
For
we had
BDO, I
made good
just
our
want to reach
escape
52
that
for
I
massive
realized it was
PvP.
poisoned.
50s is where it's at, but you want to get your 55 for your ascension. So to unlock your awakening, 55 is your awakening. That's when PvP really
Thank you
takes
for coming
off
so quickly.
on BDO.
And
Think nothing
When
of
you
it.
become awakened,
How is she?
it's a whole different ball game. It's a different ball game when you become awakened. So 52 is when you can start PvPing in your 50 when you're 50, but when you hit 55, you become awakened. And when you become awakened, your combat even accelerates even
We have
further.
done all
And
we
the
can
way
for
you
now.
build your
Although the
points,
immediate danger has
your
passed,
specialization,
the poison yet lingers in her blood.
it's really, really intense. And it's like I said, it's one of the best combat systems I've ever played. It makes it very unique. The problem of it is you don't have enough time to build all the other classes because you're so dedicated
came to
into your
Eorzea
initial
together,
class,
hoping to bring
right? Because you're
salvation to the realm our
always trying to
grandfather gave
get
his life to
more
protect.
points to allocate to your specialization. So, but you accumulate them on multiple classes. So if I, like for example, my archer, if I build points on my archer, it's account shared. So if I build another a class, he gets those points from the gate, right from the rip. But the problem of it is after your 50s, you're time synced. You have to put in X amount of hours to continue leveling and to continue going further into the game. So it's so grindy that you have no other option but to keep playing. But the Siege in Black Desert is one of the best because they have, there's no Holy Trinity. So you have your front line, you have your range, and then you have your flankers. So it's really, really good, but it's so grindy. That's what turned me off of Black
But when
Desert. I still
confronted with the
log
bitter
into Black
realities of
Desert
its
every once in a while.
politics and its
I have
petty
it. I own the
power
game. I can log
She
in
was
at any
driven to
time and
anger
play.
and to doubt.
I know, but that's a shit ton of grinding to hit 55. Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I think for Xbox players who get in
She
initially
refused to become embroiled in what
will
she
have an
termed
advantage
Eorzea's
over the players who
squabbles
join later.
and distance herself from the Scions.
Because it's all about your guild, your node wars. Everything's about the node war. Everything. I mean, you can have guild wars,
she remained hopeful
but
of a brighter
guild wars
future,
is secondary
she
to
would
the
walk
node
her own
wars
path.
and what your guild can
Not that it had not
accomplish
been so
between the
perilous.
node dominating nodes. So there's incentive to PvP
For
in
all
Black
our
Desert for
differences,
guilds.
she's as dedicated as any Scion to the salvation of Eorzea. But more than that, to be reunited with her, only to lose her forever. Gods, even to speak the words.
Take heart, Master Alphino. She will be attended by our most skilled Chirurgeons.
Crazy.
Bear Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary at once. Apprise Captain Whitecape of the situation, and inform him that she is to be treated as my personal charge.
Wait, don't go. Please, come closer. The Warriors of Darkness are in league with the Ascians.
You see this? Now this is a hint. The Warriors of Darkness are in league with the Ascians. You're going to become a Warrior of Darkness in the new Shadowbringers. Now, you were the Warrior of Light. Right now I'm the Warrior of Light. But I will become the Warrior of Darkness. It's in the trailer. And now she's saying the Warriors of Darkness, plural, are in league. So this goes to show, and then there was another hint earlier. I won't give all spoilers, but it's interesting that they use their word selection very wisely in the, you know, the climactic plot or plot and twist that are associated with this storyline. Okay, Mystic, enjoy FF. My nephew's character is called Dawnstar. If you bump into him, say hi. I will. And Graham, if you ever get on here, let me know. I will definitely be playing. Are you enjoying the BDO Xbox Army? I have not jumped back into the Xbox BDO yet, but when I got to play it in the beta during my time, now I did get like a suspension, so during that weekend, which sucked, but during the time that I was able to play it, I was more than impressed with what Pearl Abyss accomplished with the Black Desert game for the console. I was more than impressed. So I think that Black Desert is going to be a well-received product for players on that platform. I do also feel, though, that there will be players that don't typically, Western players who don't typically understand what that will be coming from other MMOs or other RPGs and don't understand the game style in which Black Desert takes place, because it is an Asian-based product, and Asian products can be very time-consuming and grindy. So some players might not, like me, I didn't have a problem with the grind. That's not my problem. Accessibility was my problem with Black Desert. That was it. So it'll be interesting to see how players take to it, but I think it's going to be successful regardless, because it runs very well. The graphics are done well. Performance is done very well, and the combat has transitioned to that platform flawlessly. So kudos to Pearl Abyss for doing such a good job.
They make for Zelvatol to bring about Garuda's summoning, and to... You must...
No! Take her to the doctor.
I shall inform the others at once.
Master Thancred, I would ask that you accompany Mistress Levea to the infirmary. Your knowledge of her injuries may well prove useful in determining her treatment.
Of course.
It's interesting. The plot thickens. I have my own theories as to how the story is going to progress, based on everything I've accumulated thus far. Which food should I talk? Oh, that looks good. All right. A lot of times I'll skip all this stuff. Speculation. Plot fillers. Alright. I guess everybody's okay then. I guess I should do a couple dailies. I gotta leave in a little bit, and I got some progression to do myself, but you know, let's see what's going on here. Now, I do make the big recommendation that you keep to the dailies in this game, especially if you're going to level. Like, for me personally, I level tunes quite a bit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters in my 60s. 5. Then I have one that's about to be into my 60s, which is my dark, and then I'm more thing. I got to 210 in DCUO. Oh, did you? Dude, did you get that free upgrade? Is that how you got to do? That was badass. I love that. I don't know if you actually worked it. If you worked it, kudos as well. DCUO is one of my favorite games. Favorite little things. It lacks in content because they have a very small development team in comparison to other bigger budget teams. But the quality that the devs bring to that product is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The combat system's one of my favorites to date, as far as it's one of the first Twitch-based games ever. They gave me a free character advance token. Oh yeah, dude, yeah. They gave it to everybody. It was a anniversary gift. Yeah, I use that on my other tune. So I have my main's in like 234, and my alt is like 190 something, and then I have a 210. So yeah, cool. And then the other ones I have is like 180s. And then I have a couple ones that are like 100 something, but it's all good. I would recommend DCUO. I didn't like what they did with some of the other stuff. I will say that. So we're gonna level this dude up and let's see what we get. Now, see if you guys notice here in this game too, I'm gonna get a bonus because I'm a tank. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. You know, it'll tell you what's needing for Q. You know, that's kind of the nice aspect as well. I really enjoy. A lot of crafting materials in this game too. And I'm talking a shitload. A lot of crafting stuff. Crafting is very, 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 very intricate in this game. More than what I even anticipated. Really nice too, because some of the crafting, depending on materials, if you do end game content, you can get materials to craft better than gear, better than drop gear, which can become your best in slot. It becomes best in slot. So, and it doesn't take away from tokens, because if you don't get anything you need in the dungeon, usually you can take your tokens in your end game and apply it towards purchasing your, acquiring your purchase gear anyways. Very linear in that way, but how they made crafting still relevant was nice. Okay, so we got our protect up. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this food. It scales down. Just gonna free up a spot. Up, put on my grit. Okay. Oh no! Nice. Woof. Yeah, I can use that for now. Up. Already have it. You already possess one of those. Okay, cool. Excellent. Graphics are so good. All right. Oh shit, come on. Keeps me busy. That keeps me busy. We stay busy here. Alright. Pass up on that ass. Alright. It happened like 3 times, but they caught me off guard every time. You all got like to 30%. I don't care. This is not like one of the harder dungeons. It's fine. Uh, Don't hit until I drag him, man. Pay attention what your tank's doing, man. All right. Get behind the ice. It's gonna be one of those moments. There they go. I stay here. Somebody didn't go behind the ice. Good job, guys. I'm going to give it up to the red mage. Definitely. Very good. I don't know if that'll be a style. Insufficient inventory space. Oh, I hate these moments. I hate these moments. We'll get rid of this. Or we'll need. And I have to figure out one more item to get rid of here. We'll get rid of this potion. It is what it is. I was looking for styles too. Dude, this game can't stop gushing over it. Really getting into the flow of combat. Controller isn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. See, dude, I told you. If they put it on Xbox, I'd play. But I don't know. Have a PS4 and my gaming laptop is a coaster. Got you, right? And it's understandable, man. I really think, like, if they brought this out for level 13, yo, at this rate, I'll be level 30 in no time. We were talking about that last night, Cal, and I'm like, you know, I give you 3 days and hopefully they resolve it. But at that time, I'm like, think about this. It'll probably take them at least another day to resolve it for you. And I'm like, and knowing Cal, he'll probably already have 2 tunes in their 30s in 3 days because you have these next couple of days off. And I'm like, I guarantee you he'll have 2 tunes in 30s and he'll be like, and they'll be like, oh, we've resolved it. And you'll be like, screw it. I'll just keep this PSN and you purchase it anyways on this PSN because you've already got 2 tunes up. And I'm like, watch it. Watch and see. They'll have this resolved by tomorrow. But the next day after, you'll be like, I'm fine. I have 2 tunes leveled up, purchased, and it'll be on this this new PSN account of yours. Because you don't need your PS Plus to play this game. And you'll be fine. And the only difference is you'll have to like put your friends list on that. But it's not it's not end of the world type shit. You know, you just have a different game on a different PS account. But yeah, and I think Duck should do that too. Create a new PS account just to try this game. It's not gonna kill him to do it. Yo, what's up? Hercules, what's up, my brother? So we got Kel finally playing now, dude.
Nice.
See?
That's awesome.
He had to create a new PS account to try the free version because his is locked up on I'm already thinking about doing that. But get your free days in though, Cal. Get the free days in. And you know what, David? Check this out, brother. You know tax season's around the corner. So you take your money and you can get a PlayStation. I know you love your Xbox. I'm not telling you to not play Xbox, but you don't need PlayStation Plus to play this. So you can literally get a PlayStation and a PS4 that doesn't have to be high grade, and you can play this if you want to on a PlayStation. So, you know, there you have it. If you want to play, you can play on a PlayStation, and you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. I mean, like double the money getting a rig. So you don't need a gaming PC. The PlayStation Pro's only like about $100 more, Hercules, right? Than the regular PS4. It's like 100 more. Yeah, I already knew you were, Cal. We were like saying, like, I'm like, watch them. They'll have this resolved either today or tomorrow, but you'll have 2 tunes in 30s in 3 days. I was like, watch it. Watch Cal. He'll have it. And when you get the macroing down, dude, Hercules, use macros.
Yeah, I use it on my Dragoon.
Okay.
It saves me.
It makes gaming on a controller so much smoother, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially Dragoon. Damn, you have the Dragon Sight people, and that gets annoying.
I'm telling you.
I had to toggle, like, I had to pick a character or pick somebody to do it on.
The PV, it just runs like butter. That's all I keep saying, and I readdress in this game. It's not my fault if game companies don't invest in their products. Like, you have to put money back into the product. You have to. If you don't, guess what? That's not my fucking fault, man. It's not my fault if I'm going to leave due to performance issues. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I can love a game to death, but am I going to keep paying for... Then I was apprehensive about coming to this game. Wouldn't you say, Hercules?
Yeah.
When you made the suggestion.
I kind of talked you into it.
No, right. But we were having this discussion on my videos. And you were saying, you know, hey, Mystic, I'm telling you, if you just try it, I think you'll like the performance of it. Right? I was apprehensive. You know, I was like, oh, man, I don't want to go back to a turn-based game. But then when you log in, I'm get 60 frames. I run the same rig. I mean, I can log into multiple games. Black Desert, it's torn down a little bit more. I mean, I'm averaging like more like 40 frames on Black Desert, a little bit less, 40, 45, depending. But I get 60 frames on here majority of the time, unless I'm in a raid. If I'm in a trial or a raid, it'll drop maybe between 40 and 45. But on my PlayStation, I'm still pushing up to 30 to 40 frames on a regular PS4. I'm like, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Like,
I think that's how they do it. I think that's the way their crossplay works.
Right, but then when I log into another game with the same rigs, I'm lucky if I can get 15, 20. I mean, it's just God. I mean, it's not.
But it's crazy how Final Fantasy does that too, because like the way their graphics look, how beautiful it's like.
Yeah, right.
And then the animations on your actual class and your job, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how it's able to not lag and still have like the same visuals.
Right.
And how no class has the same animation on them.
I mean, and at the end of the day, like, this game has a lot of new refugees. I mean, I'm talking, I can literally probably say we have now at least 1 million plus new subscribers, if not 2 million on Final Fantasy XIV. Why? Because people are looking for similarity in their MMO product with, without sacrificing quality. Right? World of Warcraft has really turned players off recently with the botches in BFA, with the company as a whole, what Activision has, done, getting ready to lay off more people. They've already laid off people. Now they're getting ready to lay off hundreds, and they bring in a person for a $15 million sign-on? There's your employee, there's your staff, and right fucking there, a half of that is your staff. Half of his annual income is your hundreds of people's salary. It's fucking ludicrous. It's not smart business. It's not. They know. They're riding the gravy train until it sinks. That's what they're doing. It's like, are you guys suicidal at this point? Do you care about your company? No, we just care about getting our money and getting the fuck out. And that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's like, hey man, why do we give a shit? Oh, we don't really care. Who would care? I mean, I don't know, man. It's crazy. So I haven't started sending these dudes on a mission, but my dudes have. I didn't even know these guys could go on missions for you there, Hercules. Your retainers. Oh, he was here.
Yeah, they can. I'm here.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, retainers, man, they're awesome. Dude, they can sell stuff for you.
Oh, yeah, that's how you sell in the market, right? I figured all that stuff out, but then, there's stuff to get them to do missions and stuff. I was like,
yeah, you can.
It gathers shit for you.
You pick a job for them, too.
Right.
You can actually, customize them a little bit.
Yeah, oh, dude, I definitely kind of like that. All right, so we just put in some stuff. I still got to we'll do a quick trial. I'm almost leveled again, too. How you liking that warrior, by the way, brother?
I got it to level 51 today. I've been grinding on that.
I might have 2 Xbox One X's. I could sell one and get a PS4. Right. That's what you can do, dude. And you don't need you don't need PlayStation Plus to play this. That's what's amazing. Like every other game, I needed it except Neverwinter in this game. Like every other multiplayer, like Elder Scrolls, you have to have PS Plus. Terra, I want to say you have to have PS Plus, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100%.
I'm not sure on Terra. I haven't really played around with that on PlayStation.
DC, you don't. DC, you don't need PS Plus. PS Plus is like our Xbox, like your Xbox Live, like Xbox Live. Okay. We're leaving in like, she works at 4, right? Okay, we'll leave in about 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna...
but I'm liking the Warrior so far. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Especially like my main is the melee job, and then going into Warrior, it just fits perfectly.
when you get your offensive stance, the gameplay definitely changes for the Warrior. When you get offensive stance, but the problem of it with the Warrior is like you don't get when you don't have that initial stance, you're kind of like, what the hell? This extreme, I'm not on extreme. I might be on hard mode on this, but this extreme mode on Rommel is nuts. It's fucking nuts.
Oh yeah, they get crazy. I might try the Paladin. I don't know. The Paladin today. They look pretty cool. I don't know.
The Paladin feels like more like a traditional tank in a lot of ways. Somebody's in the cutscene. This extreme version of this dude is a bitch. I'm like, I need an FC to... Nah, man, this dude is on extreme mode. His mechanics are just nuts. You have to maintain stacks. You can't have too many stacks. Stacks drop off. You have to pull tank switches. You actually technically have to switch out prior to that.
Yeah. One thing with the Warrior though that I do like is because of the two stances. It kind of has like the main tank stance and then kind of sort of an off tank stance for the DPSing part in a way.
Now see these little balls here? You have to get these and get 3 stacks on extreme mode, but they're not paying attention to the mechanics. But you get 3 stacks, and then you don't overlap the lightning fields. And then you are supposed to do the shrink to reduce the aggro generation. But in hard mode, you can ignore most of the mechanics. Now see, you'll see it. I'll have like a stack, and it's not being applied, so...
I'm looking forward to the Gunblade class coming out.
Actually, I'm going to go DPS. He's got this. So I'm going to switch up my stance. Not going to be able to regen Magicka so much, but I'll deal more damage. Ads are up. Oh my god.
What class are you on right now?
What am I doing? What'd you ask?
Oh, what class are you on?
I'm on the DK.
Nice. I hope they get kind of buffed next patch to 6. They're supposed to do something with them in 5.0.
I'm wondering if they're changing the limit, some of the limit breaks still. Like I don't usually give a shit about. Like Hop was turning me on to the limit breaks, and I was like, "Oh, is that how you activate it?" And Hop's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I never pay attention." He's like, "But I'm like, but usually other people activate it." He's like, "Yeah, you know that's true."
I only use limit break if I'm on a melee DPS or if I'm on a healer. That's the only time I really limit break. And a healer one is if everyone's dead. Now I limit break on that one. And then if the boss is almost dead, now I limit break on a melee DPS. I know it's like once you get to like 70 and then you get the 3 bars limit break, each class has like their own special limit break. So they won't look the same. And they all do like something different, like a special like thing.
But it's crazy because you only get 1 per party, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you get one. Yeah, one per party. Yeah, that's one crazy thing.
Leveled up. Oh.
Nice.
This tank definitely deserves it. He did a damn good job. You don't do that on extreme mode. The blue balls, okay, so I'll explain this to you guys. The tank's got a swap here on hard mode or extreme mode. Right? There will be a point where a person will get targeted, or and when they get targeted, they got to pull into this area behind, right here. They'll mark it. And as a tank, you're here. Now, you generate the threat, and then who's ever main tanking has to maintain 3 stacks. If you can't have any less, you can't have any more. But if you have any more, it's harder for the healer to keep you healed. But if you have any less, you're basically going to instant die. So there will be these round balls that form into these round blue pools in the water. This turns into water. All of this ground will turn into water. So you don't want to be in the water when he does electric attacks. Magnifies, you die. So when there's no electric fields being generated and it's really hard to see, you pick up 3 pools, right? It can be anywhere. Then you get on. You're going to basically keep do the tanking until you're ready to drop off. Then that tank will gather up 3 and switch with you. To be able to switch, you want to shrink your aggro. So you apply it to the other tank. He takes over. When you take over, then you have to go get the 3 balls. By the time you do that, you're switching with him. So you're basically switching and dropping off. When it drops off, you switch. You gather up, you switch. During this entire time, during the ad phase, people have to kill the ads or it wipes the entire team. All ads have to go down. Also, anybody who's being targeted has to pull into a designated area, and it's basically rinse and repeat. But it is very, very hard, especially with all the lightning damage, because if you're not watching and you step into the water, when this fills with water, you die. So very, very difficult. I'm explaining it easier than what it is. I'll see what I can find. Yeah, definitely let me know, David, man. Especially, and you can try out the trial. So even if you get the PlayStation, you could try it out for free. If you try it out for free, you get to decide what you have. But if you already have a Final Fantasy XIV account, you can just log in with that account on the PlayStation. So if you already own it, you can just log in with it. So that's what's really nice. The PS4, it doesn't matter. Like, I can jump on this account on my PS4. So I got to get ready to get going. I'll be back later on this evening. But yeah, level 57 now. That's not too shabby, is it? Is it? That's not too bad.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're getting 70. It's coming close.
Yeah, dude. Like 5 level 60s. I got 5 characters in 60s.
Yeah, that's really good.
5 jobs, man. Yeah, and I'm working on my crafting. My craftings are in my 30s. So that's a little bit more of a time sink. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a time sink, you know, obviously. But crafting is really nice in this game because some of the crafting can turn in your best in slot if you can get those materials in those raids, you know, those mats.
Yeah, they can get your item level
to
be up there.
You know, it's
better to craft them than try to buy them.
And I like the builds in this game aren't very complex in comparison to Elder Scrolls, but because of the material that we can slot, we can give a little customization to our builds, you know, which is nice. You know, we can, you know, go with a crit direct hit build, or, you know, a strength crit build. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, a determination strength. Or, you know, a little bit more, you know, you can go with glass cannon with black mage. Where you're not putting in any extra vitality into your build, you know? So, I feel like that's kind of cool. That, you know, it doesn't have as much flexibility, but it has some. I wish they would kind of make it a little bit more flexible. A little bit more, but I'm happy with it. I'm really happy. And
Yeah.
the simple fact that crafting has purpose. I still feel we still have a linear system in the game, but overall, I really like the fact that they don't put crafting on the back burner and say, you know what, crafting's just a side job. You know, it has no real purpose other than, you know, adding that forbidden material to your slot. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do this.
Yeah. So
They actually turned it into something.
right. And I feel like I'm learning as I'm progressing in the game, and I'm having fun with it. So, and performance, like I said, it's one of those things. It's like, why is everybody going to Final Fantasy XIV? Well, one, it's got a strong plot storyline. Two, it's not for everybody, but the combat system is well executed for a turn-based system. It's probably, you know, it's unique. It has a familiarity to the players who are familiar with turn-based, like World of Warcraft, EverQuest, Rift. It has that familiarity. But at the same time, it really sets itself apart with the combo structure. So I really like that. It feels definitely like the further you're going, the stronger you're becoming. So it definitely has incentive to keep pushing forward. The fact that you don't have to make ults is another incentive, very strong incentive in the game. There are so many things that I can see why players are making the transition. But most of all, I feel the one thing that Square Enix takes is the responsibility to say, we need to set the bar higher so we are keeping consumers happy. And a mentality like that will go far in the industry and with its customers. The more you push the bounds and you keep you know, perspective to your staff, you know, keep your staff, you know, keep loyalty to your staff. Your staff is happy, the better product you're pushing out, and consumers will notice that. And of course, now we see who's the #1 big dog now is now Final Fantasy XIV. You know, they've dethroned. It hasn't been officially announced, but I will tell you it is a fact. Final Fantasy XIV has dethroned World of Warcraft, and that's a fact.
Yeah,
you can see that on Steam numbers alone. So it is official. Whether it has been officially announced by either company, it is real that Final Fantasy XIV is now the #1 played MMO amongst the other products. The only question most other companies have to ask is why, and those answers aren't really hard to find. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to thank you, Hercules, once again for making this recommendation for me. If people want to say I'm a bandwagon jumper, I am guilty because, hey, proof is in the pudding, isn't it? So it works. Can't hate on something that works, man. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm Mr. Craven, this is Mystics MMOs, and as always, have a nice day.